Yesterday by Catherine Francis. I decided to write my arrangement for Yesterday a cappella with elements of gospel. I incorporated a gospel characteristic into my arrangement, which is a call and response technique. I applied this by having my three-part harmony vocalist to repeat what my lead vocalist had just sung. Another gospel characteristic I added into my arrangement is vocal melismas. I simply arranged my vocalist to do a vocal melisma in harmony. Also, the ending of my song incorporates the gospel preaching technique. I had my vocalists repeat I Believe in Yesterday with so much emotion, still sang, however, as if they were preaching the words. I also wanted my vocalists to use vibrato, another gospel vocal technique. Throughout the song, this really gives the gospel feel to the listener. Another characteristic of gospel is that dominant vocals and strong use of harmony drives the song, and this is why I decided not to use any other instrumentation. I did include a characteristic used in gospel, which is offbeat hand clapping and offbeat clicking. I used the offbeat clicking all the way through the song, and I used the hand clapping at the end of my song when my vocalist repeat the end line 4 times. This emphasizes the preaching of the vocalist and creates a really enjoyable gospel feel for the listener. A characteristic which I did not incorporate in my arrangement was the religious lyrical content, as I had already set lyrics. I therefore instead focused on other gospel characteristics. As mentioned before, vocals are dominant within gospel, and that's why I chose to just use vocals in my arrangement. I did this to emphasize the harmony work and vocal blends. When thinking about the timbre of my vocalists, I chose people who I felt would deliver powerful but warm vocal colours and who also would blend great together. I chose someone who can strongly sing very low, someone who can sing strongly in the middle, and someone who can strongly sing high. I did this so that the vocalist could deliver a strong emotional performance to relate to the lyrical content, yet still with a lovely vocal blend. I chose to keep my tempo very similar to the original song. I did this as I felt by keeping it slow, the harmonies could be established properly and they would have a better effect, as they would be able to be appreciated more. I decided to have my tempo andante. The tempo speeds up moderato only slightly on the last 4 lines of the song. I did this to give a dramatic ending of my song. My lead vocalist performs offbeat clicks all the way through the song. This is to keep the vocalist in time throughout the song, due to them being the only instrumentation throughout. I also added in some offbeat hand claps at the end of my song. This not only kept us all in time, but added a nice gospel effect, keeping the vocals in style. I also decided to listen to the lyrics and try to figure out the emotion behind them. This also helped my decision to keep the tempo slow, as the lyrics were very emotional and I felt they needed to be formed with emotion and really be heard. I decided to incorporate some triplets and 16th rhythms into my arrangement. I did this to make the harmony sound more interesting and pleasing to the ear. I also did this to show off the vocalist's ability to move in rhythms in harmony. I also used crotchets and semi-breves. I use these as they are often used within gospel harmonies, and this is how I wanted them to sound. Within my arrangement, I decided that I wanted the backing vocal harmonies to be spacious. I did this to keep my arrangement interesting. By spreading the harmonies out, the listener is left in suspense, wondering when their next harmonies are coming in. When creating my harmonies, I decided to base them on the chords which complemented the melody. I created a harmony stacked in thirds. This is very popular and it creates a great blend for harmonies. Harmonies stacked in thirds are also very pleasing to the ear. When thinking about the movement in my harmonies, I decided to move into different chords which created suspense and tension. I used the sus2 chord, which is an unusual chord for harmonies. However, I did this to make my arrangement more creative and interesting to the ear. My lead vocal sings the melody of the song. I decided on this as I felt that the lead vocal could establish the melody, and therefore the backing vocal's three-part harmony could embellish and support the melody with harmonies. The melody also appears sometimes in a three-part harmony. I decided to do this as I felt it brought the lead vocal together with the three-part harmony vocalist. This also created a great sound. The melody develops at different sections of the song simply by a change of dynamics. Also, the melody at the very end of the song is the only thing that differs from the original song. I decided to repeat 4 lines at the end to create a big ending. The melody develops in this area. I would say that the melody of my arrangement is very prominent. I decided to do this as a gospel characteristic, as the main vocalist is very prominent throughout the song. I would also add that the melody is very laid back with a smooth form. I decided to create this atmosphere within the melody as it would be very pleasing to the listener. Also, the vocalist can relax and be free with their vocals. The structure of my arrangement differs to the original song. I decided to keep the beginning the same, for example, verse, second verse and bridge. However, I then decided to shorten the song, so I decided to just have one more verse and then a different ending to the original. My song consists of 34 bars. My melody is the same throughout, however, I repeat the melody on the last line 4 times. This was to create a big finale and dramatic ending for the listener. This is also a good way to end so that a listener remembers the song. I decided to make the structure simplistic so that my vocalist wouldn't have to concentrate too much on a complicated structure and would be able to focus all their energy on their harmonies. I also feel that by having a smooth running simple structure, the listener will engage more with the song. My arrangement of yesterday has a rather thick texture. I created this by asking my vocalist to sing full voice to create a rich tone. There are some points within my arrangement where my lead vocalist is singing alone. I chose to do this so that when my harmonies come in, they create an impact. As if they had been there since the beginning, there wouldn't be much room left for progress for the harmonies. When the harmonies come in at different points to the lead singer, it makes it creative and interesting, and it is then exciting for the listener to think, when are they going to come in next? I would say that the change in dynamics in my arrangement creates tension, and some parts of my arrangement get louder and some are quieter. Therefore, the listener is exposed to new parts and different parts of the song. By doing this would keep the listener intrigued and want to find out more and listen more. I chose to arrange my song in the same key as the original, which is F major. I decided on this key as after checking with my vocalist, I discovered it was a very comfortable key for them to sing in. Also, the harmony sounded really good within that key as it is an uplifting key. There is a major feel throughout the song, however the lyrics contradict this. The lyrics are very sad, however I feel performing them in a major key gives the listener a feel of hope. I decided not to add modulation to my piece, as it sounded nice as it was and progressed nicely without modulating. I also feel that moving in harmony to a different key may have caused difficulty due to time limitation, and I also feel that moving to a different key would prove difficult without instrumentation, as the vocalist would not be 100% where to place their next notes. For my arrangement, when thinking of dynamics, I wanted my vocalist to be loud in the verses of the song. I decided to do this as I wanted my song to start very strong and grab the attention of the listener immediately. I didn't want the dynamics to have no room to develop, therefore that's why I decided for my vocalist to start loud. When the song got to the bridge, I wanted the song to get louder. By doing this, the listener would be aware that this is a different section of the song. Also, for the last 4 lines of the song, I decided I wanted my vocalist to be very loud, as I wanted to emphasize the preach-like gospel singing, and I wanted a big finish. I also wanted to add a crescendo to the last note of the song, also to create a big finish and end on a high. By doing this, the audience would still be entertained right until the end of the song. I decided to put in some forte piano dynamics. I did this to create intensity for the listener and for it to be pleasing to the ear. I also did this for creativity. I wrote the dynamics into the score so that my vocalists were aware of the dynamic changes. My lead vocal sings the melody of the song. I decided on this as I felt that the lead vocal could establish the melody and therefore the backing vocal's 3-part harmony could embellish and support the melody with harmonies. The melody also appears sometimes in a 3-part harmony. I decided to do this as I felt it brought the lead vocal together with a 3-part harmony vocalist. This also created a great sound. The melody develops at different sections of the song simply by a change of dynamics. Also, the melody at the very end of the song is the only thing that differs from the original song. I decided to repeat 4 lines at the end to create a big ending. The melody develops in this area. I would say that the melody of my arrangement is very prominent. I decided to do this as a gospel characteristic as the main vocalist is very prominent throughout the song. I would also add that the melody is very laid back with a smooth form. I decided to create this atmosphere within the melody as it would be very pleasing to the listener. Also, the vocalist can relax and be free with their vocals. The rehearsal process for my arrangement went pretty well. The first rehearsal, however, didn't go as planned due to one of my vocalists wasn't there, so I therefore had to teach that part to another vocalist who had stepped in for me. I also realised by having my first rehearsal that I wanted to change some things that I had written for my arrangement after listening to it. This rehearsal proved successful as I could identify areas I wanted to change, areas I liked and areas which needed more work than others. I decided to change a note at the end of my harmonies for my soprano part. By doing this, it created more colour and warmth to the overall harmonies. I also realised in the rehearsal process that it is a time-consuming process, as I had to individually go through the parts of my vocalist, as they were all not constant sight readers. After experiencing this, a strength of my process was that I decided to record the individual harmonies for my vocalists and send them to them so they could look over the parts in their own time. Therefore, next time we rehearsed together, they were more familiar with the harmonies. A weakness of my process is that there was simply not enough rehearsal time. Therefore, the harmonies are not 100% how I wanted them to be, as the vocalists are not completely confident with the harmonies.